Okay, this is now the 5-minute tarot for the 10th of July 2017. And today I'm wearing a blue jacket that Wendy, my sister-in-law, gave me. So just for a change. So today I want to talk about the suit of coins or pentacles. And this is partly because we've been considering the 7 of coins as the answer to what to do with this channel. And I had an email from Lisa who, if you look at the 7 of coins, there are 6 coins on the bush or on the shrub. And there's one at the feet of the person in the picture. And that makes the 7th coin. So her idea is maybe the 6 coins represent work that's already been done. And so the person in the card isn't so much thinking about what to do next, but is maybe resting and pausing and reflecting about what has happened or what's been done, what's been achieved, and maybe admiring the work that's been done. And so the 7 of Pentacles reversed, because the 6 coins can represent work that's been done and admiration. Maybe when the 6 of Pentacles is reversed, it can mean too much admiration. So it's really time to get back to work and finish stuff and get back to doing things instead of just admiring. So that made me wonder what's actually going on with the suit of coins in general, but also with the 7. And then someone, and I meant to look up the name before I began this and I forgot, but you know who you are, and it's in the comments as well, because he spoke about the person in the 7 of coins leaning not on a walking stick, but on a shovel, and therefore the 7 of cups, or the 7 of Pentacles, 7 of coins, represents cultivation, right? It's because it's a shovel. So I replied saying that, you know, it could be both, but I can see the point of cultivation. And then Julie sent me a JPEG, and it's going to be on screen. And here you can see a clear blade for a shovel. So if that's a shovel, then the idea of cultivation goes along with this particular card. However, I've been using the same deck that I bought in, I think, 1980. And you can see the 7 of Pentacles in it. I think it's the original Rider deck that I use. And if you zoom in, there's no clear blade at the bottom of the stick. So for me, the 7 of Pentacles is more about contemplation rather than cultivation. So when I've looked at this card over the years, it seemed that the coins that are on the bush grew by themselves. And so if you're looking at cultivation for this particular card, all you can do if you're going to cultivate in the 7 of Pentacles is help the bush to grow what it was naturally do. So what the bush produces, the pentacles that are represented in the card, their production or their growth don't depend on any effort by the person. Because a tree is going to be a tree, even if there are no people around to help it to become one. So if you use the idea of the shovel in the 7 of Pentacles as indicating cultivation, then with this card, what you're doing is you're cleaning up and you're setting up conditions for growth, but you're not directly involved in making the coins. And that can be an important distinction, that the coins in the bush grow naturally, and we can help create conditions for growth, maybe let's say by watering or by tidying or by pruning or by cleaning around the roots of the tree or removing other trees that would prevent the tree growing. But we don't work to produce the actual coins. And I'll come back to that point in a few minutes when I look at the other coins, at the other cards. So with this, it's nature with a capital N that grows the coins. You don't directly grow the coins. So let's say somebody has a problem, and I was thinking of an extreme example. So let's say somebody has a child who's taking illegal drugs, and the parent wants the child to stop, and the 7 of coins comes up in the answer about what to do. So if you're dealing with the Rider deck that has an obvious shovel, in the picture in the Seven of Pentacles, and therefore you want to bring in the idea of cultivation. So what you don't do is try and talk the child out of taking the drugs in the first place. You're not dealing directly with the pentacle. Instead, what you do is you set up a better atmosphere, let's say, or better conditions, so the person sees that there's an alternative to taking drugs. And so by showing them there's an alternative and creating a pleasant atmosphere or a better atmosphere, you remove the desire for the drugs in the first place. So maybe, let's say you're talking to the parent and you want to give them some practical information. So maybe you say to them, okay, what you do after you've eaten dinner, let's say, you don't switch on the television and sit around, because when you're watching TV, it's you and the TV, not you and the other people. So forget about TV, don't switch on the TV after dinner, and then you've got a chance of communicating with the child. And maybe you start reading books, and then you've got something to talk to, or to talk about with the child or with the young person. Or maybe what you do is you take up a creative hobby. So the parent begins to paint or draw or do something like that. And then the young person can see that life can actually be quite interesting, and you can produce something at the end of time spent with a hobby. And it's a good use of time, as opposed to taking drugs and you end up many hours have passed and all you've done is nothing. So with the idea of cultivation, you cultivate or create or produce an atmosphere or a condition in which a different type of growth can take place. In this case, I'm thinking of the child taking the drugs. But I think you get the idea. If we've got cultivation connected with the card, then you're not producing the coins directly. So which made me then think, okay, what about the other cards in the suit of coins? Do any of them or do all of them show the person in the card making the coin and actually manufacturing or producing or creating the coin that is a thing of value in the card? And most of them, they don't. So at this point, what I'm going to do next is a little bit of exploration. So I'm exploring ideas about the cards, and this is one way of understanding cards and what they mean. So what you do is you explore ideas connected with cards, and you can find that the conclusion that you arrive at may be very different from the one you started out with. So you can have an idea that turns into something very different. So you may realize something as you go through it, or you connect it with something else you've thought of before. So as you go along, or when you're doing this, it's a good idea to be not attached to what you're thinking as you think it. So it's better if you can, or it's probably more productive and more valuable if you can go through the exercise knowing that you can change your mind, or you can leave an idea behind that just because you thought of it, you don't have to keep it. So with all that in mind, is anybody making the coin, or who's making the coin? And if you look at the two of coins, maybe the person's dealing with something that they made, because they've got a coin here and a coin here, and they're maybe judging and balancing and seeing which of the two things that they made is better, or which of the two routes to travel is going to be the more productive or the better route to go. Right? So you can be seeing the fruits of your labor, let's say, or you can see the result or the outcome of what you've been trying to do, and that's what you're dealing with the two coins. Oops, touched the microphone. Whereas with the 3 and the 8, the craftsman and the apprentice, here I think it's more obvious or more clear that the person or the people in the coin cards made the coins. So they actually played a part in the creation of the coin. And that's different from the 7, where it was nature that produced the coin, not you. So you have to deal with the coin differently in the 7 than you do in the 3 and the 8. Because with the 3 and the 8, you made the coin, or you're making the coin in the 8. So you have a different relationship with the thing that is valuable, or the means of exchange, if you think of a coin in that way. Whereas with the 2, again, the 2, the 3, and the 6, that they seem to be about thinking rather than creating or making. Or not so much the 3, but in the 3, there's a certain amount of thought involved as well, even though there's making. And you've made something and it's been embedded in the archway. So it's as if you made it and it's now fully formed and it's attached and it's connected, but you help to bring it about. And then you've got the 4 and the 9. They seem to be more about having the coins rather than making them. Again, if you make money, you sort of create it, or maybe you develop it, or you invest wisely. And so you end up with more money than you began with. And in that sense, you make it. But you don't make money the way that the apprentice in the 8 of Pentacles is actually physically making the coin. So at this point, I think I've probably been going on for about 15 minutes now, and I should stop. So, and also, I don't have a finishing point. So I'd like to ask you, what do you think about this? Can you contribute something? Can you argue with me? Can you agree or disagree? Can you add something else? Because the opinions that we've been getting recently have been very Dale's comments were good, Lisa's comments were good, and the points that people have made with their cards have been good as well. And they've certainly given me a different or extra information about what the cards actually mean and what sense to make of them. So it's been valuable for me and probably for you as well. So if you have anything you'd like to contribute, let me know. And if we don't finish or reach some kind of end point with the suit of coins and a point of resolution, if we don't finish it tomorrow or the next day, it really doesn't matter, because I'm sure we're going to come back to it in our ongoing study or exploration of cards. Okay, that was a long, probably video. So I'll stop now and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.